Chronicles of Crime. This is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Today I'll be going over Chronicles of Crime and how it plays with 2 players. Now, Chronicles of Crime is a deduction game for really 1 to 4 players-ish. You can play with more, maybe a little bit crowded though. And it's a phone app-based kind of driven game with all these cards. In this original box, you're going to get 5 scenarios, and each scenario is going to tell you to set up a location and give you a couple people to start and kind of give you a short little overview, and you're going to have to kind of unfold the crime as it comes. And through the app-based kind of driven game, you're going to be scanning these QR codes, learning a little bit more about the environment, looking around. You're going to use the phone for a little kind of virtual reality tour of a crime scene, find different things around there, scan them, ask people questions. You scan one person to say who you're interrogating, and then you want to ask them about certain items which are in the middle, or certain people which you find around the board. You also have always, the scientist, criminologist, doctor, and hacker as your always go-to people you can scan, ask them about certain people around the board. And really it's an app-based game, in this board game kind of form. And the rules are pretty simple and straightforward, and it's really, you set it up like that and you start asking your questions, and hopefully after the allotted amount of time, you can answer it. So let's see a little bit what I thought about the game. So the components in this game, I'm going to be honest, there's not a whole lot to it. When I opened the box and saw how big a box it was for the components, I was a little bit off, putting. You get the main board, and you have all these locations. Comes with, several more locations as well. Like I said, each one of these locations is going to have a QR code. Certain suspects may be at certain places at different times. All these cards of just faces with QR codes on them. We're going to get items to be found around the crime scenes. You're going to get clues that you can ask people about. So really, all in all, it's main board, locations, and 2 decks of cards. And that's what you're going to get in this box. So a little bit underwhelming when it comes to the components. As far as the rules, I'm going to be perfectly frank and honest. This rule book is probably the easiest rule book I've ever read. It was 6 pages, and this thing just flew by. And when I was done reading, I was a little bit taken aback, because I was like, that's it? That's all there is? And I know how to play? And I was very confused until we went through one of the tutorial crimes in the app, and it just made everything a lot more clear. Let's talk about table size a little bit. This could be played on a 3x3, be a little bit tight. We got a little bit more spread, but I feel like this game's fairly, it can be compact. Nice to have a little bit of spread so you can, reach things easily. You will have to reach over the table and scan these different locations, items, and things like that. And as far as setup is really easy. I mean, you want to just get it to the table. You pick your scenario. You put your initial suspects out there. You put your initial location, and you kind of just go from there. I like the ease that this is to get to the table. I think it definitely, there's not a lot in the box, but once you're done, I could probably get to this to the table in less than 5 minutes, which is a great plus for me. So let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. The gameplay in this is kind of like an escape room. We've done a lot of the escape room in a box, the escape unlocked games. We've done physical escape rooms. We have a good time with that. It's a lot of fun, deduction kind of type. This was kind of neat. It built the story on just these cards. There's no text other than on a couple of the items and locations about anything. This guy can be multiple people throughout different scenarios, but you, throughout the game, throughout the scenario you play on your app, you get to have these kind of feelings about some of these people. Like, I can't trust this guy. I've talked to him multiple times. He just looks untrustworthy. And it's nice to put a face to, who we're talking about in the app. You have these, you may have these two people who like each other, say, and you just get to know them. You get to feel like you asking about different questions, and the immersion was a lot deeper than I thought it was when you're just going to get a card with a QR code on it. When you're just going to get this photo evidence with a QR code on it. You realize that QR code is really a photo of, say the perpetrator's mom, and it's going around town or something like that, and you're asking all these different people, and it's just, it really fleshed out the game, having these unique people around. And as far as the gameplay, you start, like I said, maybe with 1 or 2 locations, a couple cards, and you're scanning, asking every question you can, investigating the crime scene, which is kind of fun. VR, you get to look around. You really want to be super thorough when it comes to, looking at everything in the crime scene and getting everything out of it. We did miss one clue one time, and it did kind of hinder our end of investigation responses, which is a little bit unfortunate, but overall it's just a lot of fun. I think each game took us maybe an hour and a half, and it was an escape room in a box. We had a lot of these questions on, I don't trust this guy, he's being a little shady, but he's given correct information. This person's not even getting information. I can't talk to him unless I, talk to, say, the mom to get permission to talk to the kid. And it's just, there's a lot more in each of these scenarios, and a lot more fleshed out than I originally thought, so in a very, very good way. So let's talk about the replayability. I wouldn't replay the same scenario within the year, or even within the year and a half. I wouldn't say they're super memorable, but you can forget about it over time. However, they do come out with expansions. As far as in the app, I think you can do a few purchases or purchase a whole new kind of base starter game of a different time period. But the replayability, probably low, but out of this box, I say we got a lot of mileage out of what we paid for it. An escape room is fairly expensive for a one-time thing, but this one came with 5 one-time scenarios. 3 of them were linked, which was we thought was pretty neat. But for the most part, you're going to get 5 scenarios out of the base box. So is this game good for 2? And for me, this is a great game for 2. This and Mythos Tales, which is a game like Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, are great games to play on a rainy day, on a day you don't want to go out. The escape unlock games are pretty neat, but this just has a whole bunch more character in it. This has you work with somebody else, you feel like your partners in the crime solving efforts. You write a couple little notes on, well, this person said they'd be here at this time. I need to make sure I'm at this location at this time. You're working with the person, you're passing your phone back and forth, looking at the crime scene. It is a little, you have to have one person that kind of keeps the phone, does all the scanning, kind of reads it probably to both people. But man, for 2 people, this is just a great game. I didn't think I would like it, but out of all the escape games, this one has the most character to me. The other ones feel like you're doing puzzles just to do puzzles. This one, you feel like you're actually solving a crime, asking questions, deciding who to ask, when to ask, where to be. You only have so much, time, but they give you quite a bit of time. You can ask your helpers. It's a great game for two, and we have one scenario left of this, and I think we'll be getting some of the extra ones for a rainy day that we just want to pick up something quick, get to the table easy without reading a ton of rules, and spend about an hour and a half just solving a crime. So I really do like this game for two. It has its flaws. You only get so many in the box. Replayability is limited to those 5 scenarios, but man, is this a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoy the review, and until next time.